Let's solve this wonderful and very interesting endgame. White to move, and when, as you can see, the black king cannot go anywhere. It's not a stalemate because you can move your bishop anywhere. It is just if black is able to find a way to unchain himself. This rook on h8 is now activated, and that is sorry lost for white. White should be the winner here, but if white fails to hold the king, the black king, it will be a win for black because of the rook on h8. Now, there are three pieces that you can consider moving here, but only one is the correct move. Number one, let's try to go bishop to g7, attacking the rook. The idea, of course, if after the rook, and then you can promote the pawn. However, there's a bishop e8 attacking the c6 pawn, and there is no way for white holding the h7 going to h5. Let's say capture, and even you attack the bishop takes c6. Even if you go here, h5, and that's unstoppable, and this bishop will just prevent the a6 going to a8. Anytime the pawn will land to a8, capture. So let's go back. So moving your bishop is not a good move here. King also, let's try moving king to e8, preventing the bishop to e8, but there's a bishop e4. The idea, of course, to capture the c6, and after of king to d7, protecting the c6 pawn, king f7, the rook on h8 is now activated, ready to capture the a6 pawn. So moving the bishop, moving the king, both moves are bad moves or blunder. So the only piece to move here, the a6 to a7. The idea of black here is to, of course, to draw the game by moving bishop to e8. If you will promote the pawn with the queen, that is stalemate because, of course, the bishop is pinned. You cannot move anywhere. Sorry, draw for white. Also, if you're gonna move, okay, a7 to a8, promote with the rook, still stalemate. If you will try to promote with a bishop, this is also a draw game because the bishop will just stay in the diagonal. Bishop f7. Let's try to at least bishop a6. You will not capture this one because that is checkmate. Even you cover, that's checkmate. So instead of you capturing the pawn, just go back to f7. And there is no way for white to force the black bishop moving away from f7 going to a2. Even you just try to play along with the square. Still no way for white to force the bishop. So that's a draw game. So after a7, bishop e8, the only piece that left to be promoted is the knight, which is the good promotion. Why? Let's continue. So after knight, bishop takes, knight takes, which is force. And now let's try to move bishop f3. The idea of that knight is, of course, to land on the dark square to checkmate the black king. And this bishop will try to prevent the knight going to e7 or f6. Let's try knight b5, then bishop c6, knight d6, bishop d7. Of course, the target square for the knight is the f5, and then the c8 going here, the checkmate on the e7. So bishop d7, d7, king e7, bishop e6 once again, preventing the knight to e8, e4 going to f6, which is the good square for the bishop, and then king e6, waiting for the bishop to lose the way here. You need to find a perfect timing or the tempo. Knight c4, bishop d7, knight e3, and now the checkmate is unstoppable here. After bishop e6, you will not capture the bishop, of course. King e6, and then anywhere you're gonna go, for example, bishop anywhere on that diagonal, there's a knight g4 going to knight f6 checkmate. If you will cover this diagonal, let's say h3, there's knight d5 going to f6. So this is unstoppable checkmate.